So my talk is targeted therapy in gastric cancer, scarcity to plenty, how and when to best use them. So when I started writing the part of this book, actually, so this was my topic. And in these 9-10 months, we know that so lots of new data, especially in immuno-oncology, has come. So this is a webinar time in the COVID pandemic. So proud to be a part of this beautiful journey, and we got this virtual launch today, and that is my chapter. So some facts. So 1/3 are detected early. We are talking about gastric cancer. 2/3 will have a metastatic disease at some point. Incidence is decreasing in developing country, and more proximal cancers are reported. A shift from distal to proximal at the site of disease has not been reported from India. So intestinal type, males, older population, prevalent in high risk, linked to environmental factors. So declining incidence in developing countries, probably these are patient cohorts where you will have overexpression or amplified HER2. Whereas in diffuse or infiltrative type, which is not a sex predominant, so younger age carries a worse prognosis, rising incidence globally, and here probably HER2 incidence is less. So coming to survival in terms of a metastatic gastric cancer, so in 1990s, so it was 2.5%. So what has happened in these last 2 decades is just doubling of survival, and we have already learned from Dr. Babu that how things have fared in terms of cytotoxics. So this already have seen from the 2019 also from Dr. Govind's slide. So today, so all stomach cancers doesn't behave the same. So probably sometime from now, so we have to choose and treat our gastric cancers like the breast cancers or lung cancers. So chromosomal instability, so it is the one group which is the most commonest. Then genomically stable patients, then Epstein-Barr virus, then MSI. So there is lots of buzz on MSI. Coming to chromosomal instability, where you will probably see more of a HER2 mutations. So this summarizes that CIN, so it is chromosomal instability is almost 50% patients, usually intestinal histology, and they are usually a proximal tumors. As compared to genomically stable, they are younger population, so 1 out of 5 patients, so diffuse histology, and Epstein-Barr virus, so probably we see a lesser number, which is a male predominant, so 1 out of 10. Again, fundus and body are the main reasons. So coming to molecular testing in gastric cancers, the standard what we practice is HER2. So either IHC, we are happy if it is 3+, if it is a 2+, like the breast cancers. So you have to add on FISH, or at times probably on NGS for amplification. So MSI, variety of techniques are there, from PCR, then IHC. So then PDL1, so what we usually ask for cancers, rather than lung cancers, we look at the combined positive score in stomach cancers and many other cancers. So another new thing is that NTRK, which is RNA fusion. Coming to germline, CDH1 and a long list of others are also there. So some real life reports. So this is one of my 50-year lady of a metastatic breast cancers. So once progressed on the first line, so we did a MSI. So you can see, so high probability of MSI. So we can see these 4 genes. So initial 2, there is a loss of nuclear expression. So this patient is a MSI high. So we are counseling. So this patient is post first line of fluoropyrimidine, that is FOLFOX. Secondly, she has also received Cyramza and Taxanes. So this is another patient, so is a 55-year-old male patient, so whose CPS score you can see is 3%. So 3%, so more than 1%. So if you look at the studies, more than 1%, more than 5%, more than 10%. So we'll discuss in the subsequent slides. So this is how, so you can get a commercial report like this. But as Dr. Babu said, so first line treatment decision is important today, because in last 5 years, we have another drug, beautiful drug, which has placed its own position in the second line. So we are talking about ramucirumab. So that's why, so our first line patients should be devoid of a taxanes, though there is a marginal benefit. And that too, we are talking about a 3-drug combination. So probably, so only a small cohort of patients were young, the organ functioning is absolutely good and the patient's GC is fine, so probably you will choose this patient. Otherwise, so once you know that this patient is not to be converted to a surgery, so I think so taxane doesn't have a place at this moment, and you reserve the taxanes so or a follow-up for these patients who will definitely, or most of these patients will go into a second line therapy. So this is the clinical prognostic factors, what again Dr. Babu has said. So these are 6 parameters, and if the patient falls into a low risk, then probably a median survival can cross the yardstick of a 1 year. Otherwise, so we are looking at something around 10 to 12 months in a advanced gastric cancer. Coming to advanced gastric cancer, first line HER2 negative, we have again heard from the Dr. Babu's. So platinum derivatives, fluoropyrimidines, and taxanes at some places, and talking about anthracyclines like epidurocin. So this is how the impact on the survival of cytotoxics in advanced gastric cancers. So over these years, so we have improved over best supportive care. So 2 drugs versus 3 drugs. Again, so modest impact, but again, so none of them are crossing a 1 year yardstick. So something around 8 to 10 months hovering around. So you put 2 drugs, you put 3 drugs. So standard first line therapies in gastric cancers, all those regimens 2 versus 3. So look at the response rates, look at the time to tumor progression, overall survival. So all bang on, almost same across all combinations. Standard first line therapy for gastric cancer are taxanes needed to achieve the best result in advanced gastric cancer. So I've already said that. So these are the few newer trials. So you can see there's some numerical values, some p significant, but again, so today, so taxanes has to be reserved for those patients who are not going to be a surgical candidate, because we know that. So we have another drug that is anti-VEGF, that is Cyramza, the ramucirumab. So we have to preserve, because most of these patients, if they are on taxanes, so by the time they come for a second line and where surgery is not possible, so they usually have a poor GC, low albumin, and many times they are not a candidate for a second line therapy. So this is the NCCN guidelines. We have seen the first line 2 versus 3 drugs. So only a hope for some young patient, fit patients for taxanes. Advanced gastric cancer, first line HER2 positive. So you know that of TOGA trial. So around 584 patients. So 5FU or capecitabine with cisplatin versus, so combining this patient who are HER2 positive with a trastuzumab of a regular dose or loading followed by a maintenance dose. So the primary endpoint was overall survival, and the primary endpoint of this global trial of TOGA was met, and the exploratory analysis also met. So that showed that we have achieved the overall survival. So somebody who is HER2 positive, so they require a trastuzumab with the backbone chemotherapy. So we'll complete the HER2 positive second line. So we know that this drug is making a buzz, especially for multiply treated anti-HER2 agents in breast cancer. So it is also coming slowly into stomach cancers and many other cancers like colon cancers. So we know that trastuzumab deruxtecan, so this was again published this year. So here, so multiply treated patients who have been exposed to trastuzumab and chemotherapy backbones in the past, if the patients is fit enough to receive the next treatment, so here you can consider trastuzumab deruxtecan of a 6.4 milligram per kg. And since there are no established, so there's a physician choice. So you can use a taxanes, you can use an irinotecan. So you can see, so the primary endpoint of this trial was overall response rate. So you can see, so overall response rate was more than 50% as compared to the physician choice. And look at some patients going into a CR, a significant patients into a PR and stable disease. Coming to disease control in this deruxtecan arm, 86% with median of 11.3 months. Whereas in the physician choice, 6.2 in the 3.9 month. Look at the median OS. So looking at the median PFS, so all achieved. So I think somebody who goes on for treatment, especially for a HER2 positive, so this will be a drug from the destiny, that is Gastro G01. So probably in a refractory HER2 positive GC, so this can be looked at. Coming to advanced gastric cancer, second line, so pre-ramucirumab area, then post-ramucirumab area. So pre-ramucirumab, docetaxel, irinotecan, so these are all there. So now, so Ram is there for probably from Lilly, so ramucirumab, and now, so this month they are getting launched for Ramiven, that is abemaciclib, and we have already Ram, so getting launched by the Modi government. So ramucirumab offers two regimen choices for second-line treatment of gastric and esophageal. So both of these are phase 3 trial. This is anti-VEGF. So in regard, so only a single agent, so patients who are not fit for chemotherapy, and Rainbow was a combination of 2 weekly Cyramza with a weekly Pacli. So OS benefit, PFS benefit, both were there. You can see, so toxicity, well tolerated. The toxicity is only of a taxanes. Response rate in the Rainbow 28 versus 16, disease control 80 versus 63. Patients who had a good performance status, again, so they had a improved survival. So this is how the OS benefit, PFS benefit in the Rainbow. So we should try to put patients more on the Rainbow rather than the regard. So 1 year survival in the Rainbow 40 versus 30. So this is how for those patients in the second line, ramucirumab and Pacli versus ramucirumab, then dosi, Pacli, irinotecan. So this can be. So advanced gastric cancer, third line and beyond. So TAS 102, which is not with us at this moment. So anti-PD-1 like pembrolizumab, nivolumab is making in a big waves. So apatinib, anti-VEGF R2, which is probably at this moment only in the China, and the dealer's choice. So you see the patient, you from your experience, you choose a drug when the patient is in need, who cannot afford for what we call at this moment many costly or fancy drugs. Third line treatment and beyond, that is TAS 102. So this is one of the phase 3 trial in the Lancet. So 2 years ago, you can see, so median survival of 5.7 versus 3.6, hazard ratio of 0.69, and a significant p-value. So remember, in this TAS 102 trial, the TAX trial, so many patients were exposed to already ramucirumab, anti-HER2 agents, and few are also exposed to immunotherapy. So coming to Keynote 05, so where probably we can talk about pembrolizumab. So though this was a phase 2 Keynote 059, so here one cohort was those patients who were heavily pretreated with a PD-L1 positive or negative, doesn't matter. So you put them on a pembrolizumab. Cohort 2 is no prior therapy. So doesn't matter PD-L1 is positive or negative. So put them on combination of chemotherapy and pembrolizumab. And cohort 3 is a treatment naive patient but PD-L1 positive, put them on a pembrolizumab. So what this trial showed that, so if you talk about the pembrolizumab monotherapy, so median OS was something around 6 months, 12-month OS was that 1 out of 4 was surviving, and median PFS was 2. Some responses were there. Keynote 061, which was meant to see overall survival according to the CPS score, so pembrolizumab versus a weekly paclitaxel. The primary endpoint was OS and PFS in CPS more than 1. So you can see, so 8.3 versus 9.1, even some separation of curve in CPS more than 10. But actually, if we look at the whole pembrolizumab data in 061, so the trial did not meet its primary endpoints. So there is nivolumab data also. There is attraction 2. So again, pre-treated patients, so nivolumab versus placebo. So this trial met its primary endpoint in terms of overall survival. So 27 versus 11.6 at 1 year, 10 versus 3 in 2 years. And at the end of 3 years, so even 6% of patients were still surviving. So this is how you can see, but this is a 3-year data. Other targets enumerated, so it will be EGFR, mTOR, FGFR is coming in a big way. So molecular targeted agents for gastric cancer, there are many in phase 1, phase 2. There are something getting PFD approved. So these are the ongoing biomarker-based studies for PD-L1, HER2, EGFR, Claudin, FGFR. So this is the latest, you can say a new kid in the block, though it is a phase 2. This got published last week only. Lenvatinib plus pembrolizumab on open label EPOCH 1706. If you look at the interpretation, so these patients were put on, so first line, second line patients, they were put on lenvatinib, multi-kinase inhibitors. So 20 milligram with 200 milligram daily or 200 milligram of pembrolizumab every 3 weekly. So lenvatinib plus pembrolizumab showed promising anti-tumor activity with an acceptable safety profile. So again, last week also one nivolumab with chemotherapy is getting into this kitty, where CPS score of more than 5, again meeting its primary endpoint. To conclude, so validated target in gastric cancers, metastatic gastric cancers, HER2, we know that TOGA trial for trastuzumab plus fluoropyrimidines. So VEGF, regard rainbow trials with ramucirumab checkpoint inhibitors. So that what is established at this moment is Keynote 059 and Attraction 2. Coming to markers negative gastric cancer, first line we know that doublet chemotherapy, preferably 5-FU capecitabine with the platinum. Second line ramucirumab with or without combinations, and third line can be any of your choice. HER2 positive, again, so trastuzumab with a doublet, second line ramucirumab. So in the ramucirumab Cyramza trial, so regards and rainbow, so many patients were HER2 positive, so HER2 did not make any impact on this. Coming to MSI high, first line, so doublet chemotherapy and probably IO is taking a first seat. Second line, obviously IOs, and third line, you can have any choices, including IOs. If somebody has a PDL1 for more than 10, that is CPS is more than 10, so probably doublet chemotherapy with or without immunotherapy, and second line immunotherapy, and again, so immunotherapy all the way. So the race is on. So we are talking about first line, second line, third line, and today, so we are talking about the fourth line. So concluding my slide, so probably from scarcity to plenty in metastatic gastric cancer in 2020 or COVID times. And thank you and thanks for those frontline warriors beyond the doctors, nurses, the sweepers, so who has helped us in this time. Thanks. Over to Dr. Bhuvan.